The Battle of Three Empires lasted exactly 72 hours. Military scholars would study it for centuries afterward. They would write books about it. They would teach it in war academies across the galaxy. And none of them would ever fully understand how one human won a war that should have been unwinnable. Began with the Vex. The Vex fleet was the largest, 312 ships, including their flagship, the Eternal Conquest. They were confident, arrogant. They had been winning for weeks. The Kirin were broken, retreating, dying. Victory was certain. Then the human fleet appeared behind them. Admiral Sue had positioned her ships in the gravity shadow of a dying star. It was a dangerous place. Radiation storms. Magnetic interference. No sane commander would hide there, but humans were not sane by alien standards. They were creative. Fire, Admiral Sue said calmly. 1,000 ships opened fire at once. The Vex rear guard was destroyed in seconds. Before the main fleet could turn around, June's trap closed. Remember those strange orders he had given? The ships he had hidden behind gas giants? The small fighter groups sent on meaningless missions? They were not meaningless. Every ship, every fighter, every soldier had been positioned exactly where they needed to be. When the Vex tried to retreat, they ran into ambush. When they tried to advance, they flew into minefields that had been placed days before. When they tried to call for help, their communications were jammed by satellites that had been launched in secret. The Vex fleet lasted 8 hours. By the end, only 43 ships escaped. The Moran Collective was next. The Moran were different from the Vex. They were not soldiers. They were monsters. Giant creatures with too many teeth and an endless hunger for flesh. They fought by overwhelming their enemies with numbers and fear. June did not fight them with ships. "Release the package," he ordered. A single human shuttle approached the Moran fleet. It was tiny, insignificant. The Moran laughed and let it come. The shuttle contained a biological weapon, not a poison, not a disease. Something worse. A chemical compound that affected only Moran biology. It did not kill them. It made them hungry, not for enemy flesh, but for each other. Within 6 hours, the Moran fleet had eaten itself. June watched the carnage on the holographic display without expression. "That was monstrous," Vala said beside him. Her voice was quiet. "Yes, you used their nature against them. You turned them into weapons against themselves. Yes. Could you do the same to my people?" June turned to look at her. His brown eyes were unreadable. "If I wanted to," he said simply. Vila felt something cold move through her chest. It was fear. Real fear. The kind she had not felt in centuries. She had invited this man into her palace. She had married him. She had slept beside him for months, never knowing what he was capable of. Now she knew. The Talrics. Swarm was the final enemy. They were the most dangerous, a hive mind of billions of insect creatures, all controlled by a single queen mother buried deep inside their fleet. They had no fear, no mercy. They could not be tricked or frightened. June did not try to trick or frighten them. Instead, he spoke to them. "The Queen Mother will accept communication," he said to the surprise of everyone in the war room. "The Talrics do not negotiate," General Karn said. "They consume. That is all they know. Every creature wants something," June replied. "The question is finding what?" He opened a channel. His voice was broadcast directly to the swarm's collective consciousness. "Queen Mother, I am June. I represent both the Kirin Empire and the human species. I have destroyed your allies. I have ended the Vex fleet. I have turned the Moran against themselves. You are now alone." There was silence. Then a strange sound came through the speakers, clicking and buzzing that somehow formed words. "You are small. We are many. We will consume you. Perhaps. But before you consume us, I will tell you something important. The ones who asked you to attack the Kiran, the secret allies who promised you territory and food, they lied to you. More clicking. Explain. The real enemy is not the Kiran. It is the darkness between galaxies. The Void Eaters. They are coming, Queen Mother. In 200 years, they will reach this region of space. And they will consume everything including you. Long silence. You know of the Void Eaters? Humans have studied them for generations. They are why we surrendered to the Kiran 50 years ago. We needed time to prepare. We needed to build weapons. We needed allies. June paused. We need you. You wish alliance. With the swarm. Yes, not war. Not consumption. Partnership against a greater enemy. The clicking sounds intensified. June waited. Everyone in the war room held their breath. Finally, the Queen Mother spoke again. The swarm will consider. We withdraw. For now. And just like that, billions of insect creatures turned their ships around and flew away. June closed the channel. The war room was silent. What just happened? Admiral Pell asked weakly. I gave them a reason to live beyond eating, June said. Even monsters want to survive. He turned to Vela. It is finished. The three empires are defeated. The Kiran homeworld is safe. Vela stared at him for a long moment. You did this in 3 days. 3 days. My generals could not win 3 months, and you ended it in 3 days. Your generals think like conquerors. They know how to take territory, how to crush enemies, how to rule. But they have forgotten something important. What? How to adapt. How to change. How to become something new when the old ways stop working. June walked toward her. Humans are weak, small, fragile. We have no empire, no great fleets, no ancient glory. But we survive. Century after century. Disaster after disaster. We adapt and we survive. He stopped in front of her throne. That is what I offer you, Vela. Not power. Not glory. Survival. Partnership with a species that will never stop fighting, never stop learning, never stop growing. Vela looked down at him from her throne. Then, slowly, she stood up. You could have destroyed us, she said. You had the weapons, the plans, the opportunity. Why did you not? June was quiet for a moment. Because when I came here, I expected to find monsters. Evil creatures who deserved to die. He met her eyes. Instead, I found people, flawed, arrogant, sometimes cruel, but also capable of beauty and loyalty and love. Just like humans. He reached out and took her silver hand in his. We are not so different, you and I. Our species are not so different. Perhaps we can build something together that neither of us could build alone. Vela looked at their joined hands. Silver and brown. Alien and human. Then she made a decision. Kneel, she said. The room went quiet. June knelt before her throne. Vela took the crown from her head, a circlet of black crystal and pale light. She broke it in half. Then she placed one half on his head and kept the other for herself. From this day forward, she said loudly enough for everyone to hear, the Kiran Empire is no more. In its place, we create something new. The Alliance of Worlds. Kiran and human. Equal partners. Equal rulers. General Karn stepped forward. My queen, you come out. I am not your queen anymore, Vela interrupted. I am something else. Something new. She looked at June, who was rising to his feet beside her. We both are. She smiled at him. It was not a cold smile anymore. It was something warmer. Almost human. You were right about one thing, husband. What is that? I should have feared you, June smiled back. You still should, he said. But not for the reasons you think. Far away, On her command ship, Admiral Sue received a final message. Mission complete. Humanity. Eyes free. Alliance formed. The future is ours. She read it twice. Then she laughed a deep, genuine laugh. 50 years, she said to no one. 50 years of planning, sacrifice, and patience. And one man in the right place changed everything. She looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Void Eaters were coming. The galaxy faced dangers no one could imagine. The future was uncertain, but humanity was no longer alone. And humanity was no longer pretending to be weak. The Queen had chosen a human husband. Never realizing he was a weapon. Now the galaxy would learn what happened when that weapon was set free. The stars themselves trembled at the thought. Dawn came gray and cold. June stood in the war room, alone. The holographic maps floated around him, showing enemy positions, fleet movements, and 100 different problems that seemed impossible to solve. He studied them for 2 hours without moving. Then he started giving orders. Move the 7th Fleet to coordinates 974, he said to the communication officer. Hide them behind the gas giant in Sector 6. Sir, the officer looked confused. That sector has no strategic value. Do it. Yes, sir. Contact Admiral Pell. Tell him to take his remaining ships and retreat toward the Kieran homeworld. Full speed. Do not engage any enemies. Retreat? But that will make us look weak. Do it. The officer obeyed. June continued giving orders. Strange orders. Confusing orders. He moved ships to empty space. He abandoned planets that could have been defended. He sent small groups of fighters on missions that made no sense to anyone watching. The generals were furious. He's insane, General Karn said to Vila in private. He is throwing away our forces for nothing. In 3 days, we will have nothing left to defend the homeworld. Give him time, Vila said. But doubt was creeping into her voice. Time? We do not have time. The enemy is coming. And our human commander is playing games like a child with toy soldiers. Vela had no answer. 2 days passed. The situation seemed worse. Enemy fleets advanced freely, taking planet after planet. Kieran citizens fled toward the homeworld in panic. The news reports spoke of doom and destruction. And June kept giving his strange orders, his face never changing. On the 3rd day, Vila came to the war room. She found June staring at the maps with unusual intensity. My generals tell me you are leading us to destruction, she said. Your generals are idiots, Vila blinked. No one had ever spoken to her so directly. Then explain. What are you doing? Why are we retreating? Why are enemy ships moving freely through our space? June turned to look at her. For the first time since they had met, there was something in his eyes. Not emptiness, not calm. Something sharp and dangerous. Your Majesty, he said, do you know why humans are considered weak? Because you are. You have no natural weapons, no armor, no special abilities. Wrong. We are considered weak because we let you think we are weak. He walked closer to her. 50 years ago, when your empire conquered Earth, we had the technology to fight back. We could have destroyed your invasion fleet. Vela frowned. That is impossible. Our intelligence said, your intelligence was wrong. We let you win. We surrendered on purpose. The words hung in the air like poison. Why would you do such a thing? June smiled that strange smile again. Because we were playing a longer game. You see, the Kieran are powerful. Too powerful to defeat directly. But empires do not fall from outside attacks alone. They fall from inside. They fall when they become arrogant. When they stop learning. When they believe they cannot be beaten. He gestured at the maps. These 3 enemies attacking you now. The Vex, the Moran, the Talrix. They are not working together by accident. Someone told them Kieran's secrets. Someone planted that spy device 200 years ago. Someone has been preparing this war for generations. Vila's face went pale. Who? Humans. The word dropped like a bomb. Vela stepped back. Her hand moved toward the weapon at her side. You, she whispered. You are the traitor. You have been planning this all along. Yes and no. June did not seem worried about the weapon. I was sent here to destroy you. That was my original mission. But plans change. What do you mean? I mean that humans are good at war. Very good. We have been fighting each other for thousands of years before we met aliens. We learned things about conflict that other species never imagined. He paused. Including when to change sides. Vila's hand froze on her weapon. The three empires attacking you. Now, they think they are using human intelligence to win. They are wrong. We are using them. Using them how? June walked back to the maps. He touched a control, and new images appeared. Ships. Thousands of ships. Human ships. Where did these come from? Vela gasped. We have been building them in secret for decades. Hidden in asteroid fields. Disguised as mining operations. Crewed by humans who officially died in your labor camps. He looked at her over his shoulder. Did you really think a species that conquered its own planet would accept slavery forever? Vila was shaking now. Fear? Anger? She could not tell. You lied to me. Everything was a lie. Not everything. June turned to face her fully. I was sent to destroy your empire, but I have spent months here. I have learned your people. I have learned you. His voice softened slightly. You are not monsters. You are conquerors. Yes. You have done terrible things. But you are not worse than humans were when we ruled our own world. What are you saying? I am saying that I have a choice. I can let the Vex and Moran and Talrix destroy you. They will burn your homeworld. They will kill your people. Your 9,000-year civilization will become dust. He paused. Or I can save you. But if I save you, things will change. Vila's hand dropped from her weapon. What kind of change? Equal partnership. Humans are not slaves anymore. We are allies. Full citizens of a new empire. Not Kieran, not human, but something new. Something better. You are asking me to share power with the species that has been secretly plotting our destruction. Yes. Yes. Why would I ever agree to that? June gestured at the maps again. The enemy fleets were getting closer. Red dots everywhere. Because in about 6 hours, the Vex fleet will reach your homeworld. You have no ships to stop them. Your generals have no plans. Your empire has no hope. He met her eyes. Accept me. I am your only chance, and I do not work for free. The silence stretched between them. Finally, Vala spoke. If I refuse, then I will contact Admiral Sue, the human commander in charge of our hidden fleet, and tell her to stay away. The Vex will destroy you. Then we will destroy them when they are weak from battle. Humans will build our own empire from the ashes of 2 fallen ones. And if I agree, then I will give one command and everything changes. Vila closed her eyes. For a long moment she was completely still. Then she opened them. Give the command. June nodded. He turned to the communication console and typed a single message. Spring. Far away. In the dark space between stars, Admiral Sue received the message. She smiled grimly. All ships, she said into her communicator. Begin Operation Spring. It is time to introduce ourselves to the galaxy. 1,000 human warships powered up their engines and moved toward the battlefield dot in the Kiran war room. New dots appeared on the holographic maps. Blue dots, coming from everywhere at once. General Khan burst through the door. My queen! Unknown ships are appearing all over the system. They are. He stopped when he saw June's face. What have you done? June turned to face him. I have done what humans do best, General. I have survived. I have waited. And now. He looked at the maps, at the blue dots racing toward the red ones. Now I'm going to win. Vila watched him with new eyes. She had thought he was broken, empty, harmless. She had been wrong about everything. This man standing before her was not a pet, not a victim, not even a soldier. He was something far more dangerous. He was human. 3 months passed since the selection. June lived in the royal wing of the palace now. His room was large and beautiful, filled with furniture made from rare woods and metals from 100 different planets. A window showed him the capital. City below, towers of black stone reaching toward a purple sky. Flying ships moving like silver insects between buildings. He hated all of it, but no one could see that hate. He had buried it so deep that even he sometimes forgot it was there. Every morning, servants came to dress him in expensive clothes. Every afternoon, he walked in the royal gardens with Queen Vela. Every evening, he sat beside her at grand dinners while alien nobles stared at him with disgust. A human, married to their queen. It was an insult to them. June did not care about their looks. He cared only about information. You are learning our language very quickly, Vela said one afternoon. They were walking through a garden of crystal flowers that sang when wind touched them. Most species take years. You have done it in weeks. I had nothing else to do in the camps, June said. I listened. I remembered. Clever human. Vela sounded amused. She often sounded amused when she talked to him, like someone watching a pet do a small trick. What else did you learn? History. Your empire is 9,000 years old. You have conquered 312 planets. 47 species are now extinct because of you. Vela laughed. It was a beautiful sound like bells. You say that without anger. Why would I be angry? Anger changes nothing. The past is finished. Most humans are very angry. They curse us. They spit at our soldiers. They dream of revenge. She looked at him with her black eyes. But not you. I told you before, I am already dead. Dead men do not dream. This answer seemed to please her. She touched his arm gently. Her skin was cool, like touching metal. You are comfortable here, she said. I was worried you would try to escape, or hurt yourself. Other husbands have done such things. Where would I escape to? There is nothing left for me outside these walls. Another lie. Another mask. June wore them like clothes now. That night, there was a dinner with the War Council. 12 generals sat around a long table, eating strange food and drinking dark wine. June sat in a small chair beside Vela's throne, silent and watching. General Karn was speaking about the borders. The Vex Federation is moving ships near Sector 7. They may be planning an attack. The Vex are cowards, said another general with 3 eyes. They would not dare. They are testing us, Karn said. Our fleet in that sector is weak. Only 40 ships. If they attack with their full force, then we move ships from Sector 3. Vela interrupted. Problem solved. The generals nodded. The conversation moved on. But June remembered everything. Sector 7, 40 ships. Sector 3. He filed it away in his mind like putting a book on a shelf. After dinner, Vela asked him to walk with her on the balcony. The night sky was full of strange stars. You were very quiet during dinner, she said. I am always quiet. Yes, but tonight you were listening. I could see it in your eyes. You were paying attention to the military talk. June did not deny it. That would be suspicious. Instead, he said, I was a soldier. War is the only thing I understand. Vila studied his face for a long moment. June kept his expression empty. Tell me, she said finally, what did you think of General Karn's report? I think he is right. The Vex are testing you. They smell weakness. Weakness? Her voice became sharp. The Kirin Empire has no weakness. Every empire has weakness. The question is whether enemies can find it. Vila was silent. No one had ever spoken to her like this. Most people only told her what she wanted to hear. But this human, this strange, broken human, told her truth. "Where is our weakness?" she asked quietly. June looked at the stars. "I do not know yet. I have not seen enough. But if you let me study your maps and your reports, I could tell you." "Why would you help us? We conquered your people. We killed your family. I have no people anymore. I have no family." He turned to look at her. "I have only you. If the empire falls, I fall with it. Self-preservation is a strong motivation." It was the right answer. Viola smiled. "You continue to surprise me, husband." "Very well. Tomorrow I will give you access to the war room. You may study whatever you wish." June bowed his head slightly. "Thank you, my queen." Inside, somewhere deep, where no one could see, he allowed himself to feel a moment of triumph. Phase 2 was beginning. Over the next few months, June became a ghost in the war room. He read reports from every sector. He studied maps of every border. He learned the names of every general, every admiral, every spy master. The Kirin officers ignored him at first. He was just a human, after all. A pet. What could he possibly understand? But slowly, they began to notice things. When General Karn could not find a solution to a supply problem, June quietly suggested one. It worked perfectly. When Admiral Pell was confused about enemy ship movements, June pointed out a pattern no one else had seen. He was right. When the spy master complained about a broken communication network, June drew a new design on paper. It was better than anything the Kirin had invented in centuries. "How does he do this?" Admiral Pell asked one day, staring at June's work. "He is human," General Karn said with disgust. "They are like insects. They survive by being clever, not by being strong." But there was worry in Karn's voice now. Worry and something else. Fear. One night, Vila came to June's room. She had never done this before. She stood in the doorway, her silver skin glowing faintly in the darkness. "You have made my generals nervous," she said. "I apologize." "Do not apologize. It is amusing to watch them sweat." She stepped closer. "But I am curious. You said you would find our weakness. Have you?" June was sitting by the window, looking at the city lights. He did not turn around. "Yes. Tell me." "Your weakness is arrogance. You believe no one can defeat you because no one has defeated you for 9,000 years. But that is not strength. That is luck. The universe is large and full of dangers you have never imagined." Viola was silent for a long moment. "And what danger should I fear?" Now June turned. His face was still empty, but his eyes seemed darker than usual. "Me," he said simply. "You should fear me." Viola laughed. "You? A human? You are many things, husband, but you are not dangerous." June smiled. It was the first time he had smiled since arriving at the palace. "If you say so, my queen." She left his room, still laughing. In the darkness, June stopped smiling. He took out a small device hidden inside a book. It was a human communicator, smuggled to him by a servant who was also a spy. He typed one message. "I have everything. Waiting for your signal. Somewhere in deep space." Admiral Sue received the message. "Patience," she whispered. "Just a little longer." The trap was almost ready. All they needed now was the right moment to close it. And that moment was coming faster than anyone knew. The first attack came without warning. June was eating breakfast when the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. Servants ran in every direction, their faces showing panic. He walked calmly to the war room. Inside was chaos. Generals were shouting at each other. Holographic maps floated in the air, showing hundreds of red dots moving toward Kirin space. Vala stood in the center of it all, her black eyes filled with cold fury. "Report," she demanded. General Khan's voice was shaking. "The Vex Federation, my queen. They have attacked Sector 7 with their full fleet. 300 ships. Our forces there are already destroyed. 300 ships?" Vala's voice cut through the noise like a knife. "They have never gathered such numbers before." "It is not just the Vex," Admiral Pell said. His face was pale. "The Moran Collective has attacked Sector 12. The Talric Swarm is moving towards Sector 4. 3 enemies. 3 attacks. All at the same time." The room went silent. June stood in the corner, watching. His face showed nothing, but inside he felt something shift. This was not expected. The human plan did not include 3 alien empires attacking together. Something else was happening here. Vila turned slowly, looking at each of her generals. How is this possible? How did 3 enemies coordinate an attack without our spies knowing? No one answered. "Someone is helping them," she said. "Someone is sharing information. Someone has betrayed us." Her eyes moved around the room. For just a second, they stopped on June. He did not react. He had trained for this. He was stone. He was ice. Vila looked away. "General Karn, take the 5th Fleet to Sector 7. Admiral Pell, take the 3rd Fleet to Sector 12. General Myra, hold Sector 4 with whatever ships you have." "Yes, my queen," they said together and rushed out. For the next 3 weeks, the Empire burned. Every day brought worse news. The 5th Fleet arrived at Sector 7 and was ambushed. General Khan barely escaped with his life, but half his ships were destroyed. The 3rd Fleet reached Sector 12 too late. The Moran had already taken 2 planets and were eating the population. Eating them. Literally. The Moran did not take prisoners. Sector 4 was the worst. The Talric Swarm was not an army. It was a living nightmare. Billions of insect creatures moving as one mind, consuming everything in their path. General Myra sent message after message begging for help. Then her messages stopped. June watched it all from the war room. He watched the red dots on the maps grow larger. He watched the generals' faces turn from confidence to fear to despair. He watched Vila pace back and forth like a caged animal, her silver hands clenched into fists. And he waited. One night, Vila found him on the balcony again. She looked tired. For the first time since he had met her, she looked old. "They are at the gates," she said. "The combined fleets will reach the homeworld in 2 weeks. Maybe less." June said nothing. "My generals have failed me. Every plan they make, the enemy seems to know about it before we act. It is like they can read our minds. Someone is still giving them information." June said. Double quotes. "Yes, but who? I have executed 12 officers this week. Tortured 30 more. None of them are the traitor." June turned to look at her. "Have you considered that the traitor might not be a person?" Vila frowned. "What do you mean?" "Your communication systems. Your computer networks. When I studied them, I noticed they were very old. Very outdated. If someone had placed a spy device inside them long ago, you would never know." Vila's eyes widened. "That is impossible. Our technology is the most advanced in the galaxy. Your weapons are advanced. Your ships are advanced. But your internal systems have not been updated in centuries. Why change what seems to work?" June's voice was calm, almost gentle. "But old systems have old weaknesses. Any good spy would know that." For a long moment, Vila stared at him. Then she called for her engineers. It took them 6 hours to find it. A small device hidden inside the main communication hub. It was alien technology, not human, not anything they recognized. It had been there for at least 200 years, quietly recording every message, every plan, every secret. Someone had been preparing for this war for a very, Very long time. Vila destroyed the device with her own hands. Her face was twisted with rage. Who put this here? She screamed. Who has been watching us? No one knew, but the damage was done. Even with the spy device destroyed, the enemy fleets were still coming. They had already won too many battles. The Kirin Empire was bleeding from 100 wounds. That night, Vela called an emergency meeting of the War Council. But it was a different kind of meeting. There were no generals shouting, no admirals arguing, just silence. We are going to lose, General Karn said finally. His voice was hollow. The homeworld will fall within a week. Our empire will be divided between 3 enemies. 9,000 years, finished. There must be something we can do, Admiral Pell said weakly. What? We have no ships. We have no soldiers. We have no plans that the enemy does not already know. Vila sat on her throne, motionless. She had not spoken since the meeting started. June watched from his corner. The moment was almost here. He could feel it like electricity in the air. My queen, General Karn said, perhaps it is time to discuss. Terms of surrender. No. The word was quiet but absolute. Vela stood from her throne. The Kirin do not surrender. We do not bow. We do not beg. Her black eyes burned with ancient fire. If we are to die, we will die fighting. With respect, my queen. Fighting with what? We have nothing left. We have one thing. Vila turned and looked directly at June. We have a human. Every eye in the room moved to him. June felt the weight of their stares. Hatred, confusion, desperation. They were looking at him like he was either their salvation or their final joke. He stepped forward. You want my help, he said. It was not a question. You found the spy device, Mela said. You have been right about everything. My generals have failed. My admirals have failed. But you see things they cannot see. I am just a human. You said so yourself. I was wrong. The words seemed to cost her something. Queens did not admit mistakes. I was wrong about you. About your species. Perhaps about everything. General Karn stepped forward, his face red with anger. My queen, this is madness. You cannot give command of our forces to a human. It is disgraceful. It is my decision, Vela said coldly. Unless you have a better plan, General? Karn closed his mouth. Vila walked down from her throne until she stood in front of June. They were the same height. Her black eyes looked into his brown ones. Save us, she said. Save my empire. And I will give you anything you want. June was silent for a long moment. Then he smiled. That same strange smile from before. Anything? Anything. Then give me complete control. Every ship. Every soldier. Every decision. No one questions my orders. No one changes my plans. I lead, and everyone else follows. Can you do that? Vila hesitated. This was asking for more power than any non-Kirin had ever held. But she had no choice. Done, she said. June nodded slowly. Then we begin at dawn. Tell your generals to rest tonight. Tomorrow, the real war starts. He turned and walked out of the room. Behind him, General Karn leaned close to Vila. My queen, are you certain about this? Vela watched June's back as he disappeared through the door. No, she admitted. But I am certain about one thing. If he fails, we die fighting. If he succeeds... She paused. Then perhaps I will finally understand what humans truly are. In his room, June took out his hidden communicator. They have given me command. The plan changes. I will contact you with new orders, Admiral. Sue received the message and laughed out loud for the first time in 30 years. He actually did it, she said to the empty room. The crazy boy actually did it. She began preparing her own fleet. A secret fleet. A human fleet. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would learn why humanity was never truly conquered. They had been waiting, watching, learning. And now, finally, it was time to show their true face. The throne room of the Kiran Empire was made of black stone that seemed to eat light. Thousands of small blue crystals floated near the high ceiling, giving the room a cold glow. In the center sat Queen Vela on a throne carved from the bones of ancient beasts. Her skin was pale silver, her eyes were completely black, and her hair moved like smoke even when there was no wind. She was beautiful in a way that made other species afraid. Today was selection day. Every 10 years, the queen chose a husband from the conquered planets. It was not about love. It was about power. It showed the galaxy that other species existed only to serve the Kiran. 50 males stood in a long line before her. There were tall ones with 4 arms from planet Mox. There were short ones with hard shells from the ocean world of Pela. There were even 2 from the lizard, people of Vaughn, their scales shining under the crystal light. And at the very end of the line stood one human. His name was June. He was 32 years old. He had black hair cut short and a face that showed nothing. He wore simple gray clothes like a prisoner, but he stood straight like a soldier. His hands were still. His breathing was slow. He did not look at the queen. He looked at the floor, waiting. Queen Vela walked down from her throne. Her long dress made no sound as it touched the ground. Her advisors followed behind her, General Karn, with his scarred face, and Minister Eula, with her tablet always recording. "This is all?" Vela asked. Her voice was soft, but it filled the entire room. 50 males from 12 planets? "Yes, my queen," Minister Eula said. "These are the finest specimens. Strong bodies, good health, acceptable intelligence." Vela stopped in front of a large male from planet Mox. He was almost 3 meters tall. His forearms were thick with muscle. He smiled at her, showing teeth like a predator. "This one thinks he is impressive," Vela said. She touched his chest with one finger. The Mox male trembled. But his species lost their war in 6 days. 6 days. His strength means nothing. She moved on. She stopped in front of the lizard males from Vorn. They hissed softly, a sign of respect in their culture. Their scales were red and gold, very beautiful. "Pretty," Vela said. "But the Vorn people tried to poison my water supply last century. I cannot trust them." She continued walking. One by one, she rejected them all. Too weak, too stupid, too proud, too scared. The line grew shorter. Males were taken away by guards, returned to their planets in shame. Finally, she reached the human. June still looked at the floor. He had not moved once during the entire ceremony. "A human," Vela said. There was amusement in her voice. "I did not know we had any humans left." General Karn stepped forward. "We captured a small colony near the edge of the system, my queen. 3,000 humans. Most died in the camps. This one survived. What is special about him?" "Nothing, my queen. He was a soldier of low rank. He has no family, no importance. He is ordinary." Vela looked at June carefully. Humans were small compared to most species. They had no claws, no armor, no venom, no special powers. They were soft and weak. Their planet had been conquered 50 years ago, and they had accepted it without much fight. At least, that is what everyone believed. "Look at me," Vela commanded. June raised his head slowly. His eyes met hers. Something strange happened in that moment. Most males could not hold her gaze for more than a second. The power of a Kiran queen was too strong. It pressed down on the mind like a heavy weight. But June looked at her calmly. His eyes were dark brown, almost black. There was no fear in them. No hate, no desire. They were like deep water, impossible to see what was underneath. "You are not afraid," Vela said. It was not a question. "No," June answered. His voice was quiet but clear. "Why not? I could kill you with a thought. Yes, that does not scare you?" June was silent for a moment. Then he said, "I have already died once. In the camps. Everything after that is extra time." Vela tilted her head. This was interesting. Most humans begged. They cried. They tried to run. This one accepted death like an old friend. "General Khan," she said without looking away from June, "you said he was ordinary." "I disagree. My queen? He is broken. Completely broken. There is nothing left inside him to fight me." She smiled, and it was not a kind smile. "He is perfect." The court gasped. Minister Eula's fingers stopped moving on her tablet. General Karn's face showed shock. "My queen, surely one of the stronger species would be—" "I have decided," Vela said. Her voice became cold. "This human will be my husband. The selection is complete." She turned and walked back to her throne. June watched her go. For just a moment, something flickered in his eyes. It was gone so fast that no one saw it, but if someone had looked carefully, they would have recognized it. It was satisfaction. Far away, on a hidden human ship floating in the dark space between stars. A message appeared on a screen. Phase 1 complete. The weapon is in place. An old woman with gray hair read the message. Her name was Admiral Sue. She had been fighting the Kiran Empire in secret for 30 years. She had sacrificed everything, her family, her health, her happiness, for this moment. "June," she whispered to herself, "do not fail us." She deleted the message. There could be no evidence. If the Kiran found out what they had done, they would burn every human planet to ash, but they would not find out. That was the beauty of the plan. The Kiran believed humans were weak. They believed humans had accepted defeat. They believed June was just a broken soldier with nothing inside him. They were wrong. June was the most dangerous weapon humanity had ever created. Not because of his body, not because of strength or speed or special abilities, but because of his mind. He had spent 15 years preparing for this moment, learning every Kiran secret, studying their psychology, training himself to feel nothing, show nothing, want nothing. He was a ghost wearing human skin. And now he was inside the palace, standing next to the throne, wearing the title of royal husband. The queen had chosen him. She thought she was taking a pet. She did not know she had just invited death into her home. And by the time she realized the truth, it would be far too late.